Hey guys, it's been a long time since I actually recorded anything for YouTube, but I guess the comeback is gonna be slow. I'm gonna promise you anything, but here we go. So, for those who are not aware of what's going on, my name is Vita. It's short for Vitalia, and I'm founder and the head teacher of Vita University Language School. I have presence on social media, on Instagram, on Telegram, on TikTok, you name it. And I also want to come back on YouTube as you see it. So I decided to record a video explaining some questions my followers from Instagram have to me regarding my and my husband's status in the country where we are now, which is Israel. So yeah, I'm gonna just try to draw this and explain you real quick what we are currently going through. First thing first, let me just explain you what happened in the course of the last year. So, in September 2022, we immigrated to Israel. We moved here because I used to live here as a child, and I am actually a citizen of Israel. I've been a citizen of Israel since 1999, and I had my passport long before I met my husband, right? So, it's an important detail, you need to mind it, remember about it. So we decided to move to Israel last year in September, and many people thought that by doing so, my husband is eligible for getting his citizenship in a year or something, like many people who do Aliyah, which is a process of like repatriation to Israel, offers to people. But there is a catch, it's not that easy. Let me just explain you how it goes for my family. So, there are different ways to become a citizen of Israel. Most of them you're familiar with them. The first and the most popular is repatriation. This is coming back to the country according to the law of return. And many people who never had a citizenship before, never had a passport before, can grab their spouses and actually move to Israel. And in the course of 1 year, with the help of the Ministry of Interior, their spouses will get the citizenship as well, right? Sounds fruity, sounds swimmingly, sounds everything, sounds well, right? But it only works for those people who never had any documents whatsoever. I mean, no Darkon, which is an Israeli passport, no ID, Taudat Zut, and yeah, they have never lived in Israel and whatnot, which is not my case. I even Googled it in order not to, drive you onto the wrong path of understanding. Basically, there are some things listed in here. So the first one that I described to you, it's about citizenship through the law of return. It's citizenship through immigration. It means that you need to live here, you come here, you get your first passport. Now it's like, it used to be different. I don't know exactly what kind of documents people get now when they do this, but this is how it goes now. Yeah, so this is the first way to get citizenship in Israel. Another way is through, of course, birth or adoption. If you're born into the family where at least one member of the family is Israeli, you can get basically a citizenship, of course. You need to go to the embassy, you need to do some paperwork, and in the end, yes, your child will have the Israeli citizenship. This is the second way. The third way is citizenship through naturalization. And there is a special name to it in Hebrew, it's giyur, I think. And this is when you live in Israel, you can prove that this is your center of life, and you are recognized as a permanent citizen of Israel, and you know some Hebrew, and you renounce your previous nationalities, and you convert to their religion, Judaism, basically. So this is the toughest one. You need to pass an exam. Some of my relatives did that. One of my friends did that. And it's no joke. It's a serious thing you need to do. And it takes some time. So this is the third way to get the citizenship of Israel. There is another way, and this is what is happening to me and my husband. It's citizenship through marriage. So he got married to me, and I am an Israeli citizen already. I already have the documents, I have lived here before, and it's just a coincidence not a coincidence, it's just a way of life. I mean, it happened that I was not living in Israel for a good 20 years, and I decided to come back. So this is what is happening now. We're coming back, but mind me, remember, that according to the law of return, you can go to Israel with your spouse and automatically in a year time you both get citizenship. Like, I mean, you already had the citizenship, for example, not the rights for it, and your spouse automatically gets it because you are moving there and it's your main center of life and whatnot and yada yada yada, everything like that. But in our case, remember I have told you at the beginning of this video, I had the documents before. I used to live in Israel before. So it is not applicable to our couple, which opens up another door with absolutely amazing experience called family reunification. So, as my husband cannot live in Israel just like that, he needs to reunite with his family, who is me, myself, and I. Yes, of course. And this is a long process. And citizenship in this process is granted gradually to the second spouse over a 5-year process. Yeah, there is a special name to it in Russian, but in English it's just called family reunification. Right? So we are not in the middle, I would say, we are at the beginning of this process. When you want to do that, there are a couple of ways to go about it. Really strange because, actually it seems like one is less legal than the other one, but for some reason in the Ministry of Interior, they usually ask you whether you have started the procedure doing it this way. Okay, so when you do this, Israeli citizen, it's me, needs to go to the Ministry of Interior in Israel and actually apply for gratification of approval of the entry of non-Israeli spouse to Israel. And this can take some time. My husband was waiting for it for around a couple of months, and then we got just sick and tired of waiting because the queues were unreal with all the situation in the world. It was unrealistic to wait for it. But that was the first way, to wait until the Ministry of Interior approves your spouse and he enters Israel with a paper saying that he is going through this family reunification procedure. Another way to go about it is just to pretend that you're a tourist and come into the country and start this procedure from inside, which actually happened to us. And many people in Ministry of Interiors are asking, like, is your husband already here or is he still waiting for the approval of the invitation? And we're like, what? So you actually approve of people doing it incorrectly because the correct way takes a lot of time, or people just don't want to do it. Yikes on bikes. I don't know how it works for them, but it seems like it's fine. So we followed this second way, when the person comes as a tourist and he stays, and we started this procedure. So in December, my husband and I, we came together because we went for a holiday, and then we came back to Israel. I came to Israel before. I asked Ministry of Interior for granting access to Israel, basically to my husband, but they ignored it because they were snowed under with a lot of stuff to do. So we followed the second way. We came here and started going to the Ministry of Interior. Now, the first step in this multi-faceted, multi-level process is to go to the Ministry of Interior and actually tell them, well, here he is, here's my husband. Then you start collecting a lot of documents in a nutshell, okay? I'm not gonna walk you through the whole process because it is so difficult, oh my goodness gracious. You will literally fall asleep until you understand what's going on. But in a nutshell, you need to collect a lot of documents from the country of origin. You need to have an apostille on them, and it needs to be done in Israel because Israel doesn't accept any documents which are with apostille from different countries, but not from Israel. They all need to be done here. So you need to do this, and it takes time. And then when it's all done, you bring them all these documents, but not in person. You send them online first so that they consider you, and then it's waiting game until they read this email and check all these documents. It took us a good couple of months before it happened, and they gave us a date in the Ministry of Interior to come in person and bring these documents in person. Mind you, some of them might get old because they are working for a couple of months and then you need to renew them. So it's literally very difficult. But in our case, everything went swimmingly, so we went there with all the documents that were just fine. Not outdated, not expired. So we gave them these documents and they were like, yeah, we haven't even read the email with your scanned copies. But anyways, yeah, let's go. We will reopen your case. Yeah, okay. So this is how it went. We got another date. It was around May. And in May, Thank God, finally my husband got a working permit, a working visa. That is the first step. You remember I told you that the legal status is obtained gradually by the spouse who is non-Israeli. So here you go. The first step is getting a working visa after the invitation to the country. So he got this working visa, which means yes, he can work. Yeah, you can work, you can go and have a job. Yeah, very hard without Hebrew, but anyways, you can do that. Next thing, we got another date. And I actually got a questionnaire that we need to fill out about his family and me as well. It's like 7 pages or something that we need to send to a special body. It's in Jerusalem, and it actually is created specifically for post-Soviet countries to check their eligibility. Yeah. So people from other countries, they don't need to go through this. Only people from post-Soviet countries and all this, Eastern countries need to go through it, basically. Yeah. So we filled in the questionnaire, sent it to Jerusalem, and we're waiting for them patiently to tell us when to come for another round of interview with the consul. Yeah. So this is what happened. In September, I think, we got an invitation. So we went there first thing in the morning. I think it was like Friday Friday is Sabbath. I don't remember which day that was, but anyways, it was the beginning of September. We went there, had an interview with all the documents. They asked us simple questions like where did you meet, and when did you get married, and everything, just to check whether we are adequate or not. Then this body needs to approve whether the candidates are good or not. That was the next step for us. We already had the date for the interview with the consulate in November, which we had last week. And but they needed to wait for results from this body in Jerusalem to arrive to them before they actually could give an interview, like host an interview for us. Thankfully, on the day of interview in November, they told us, yes, your documents have arrived just today. Imagine the level of stress in here. The struggle is real. So we went to the interview, the first interview, after which my husband is meant to get his first permanent citizenship. Yes. Gradually, step by step, baby steps. So about this interview, that's the whole separate thing. We were getting ready for this interview with our lawyer because sometimes they ask questions that might be hard for some people to answer because not everyone knows their significant other really well. Thankfully, we know each other really well. We spend a lot of time together. We're like super friends, like best friends, and we had no problems with it whatsoever. But anyways, just as a precautionary measure, we started all this question, and these questions include very basic things like what does your husband or wife drink in the morning? What was she wearing on the day when you met her? How did your celebration, your wedding go? Who organized it? Tell me about the parents of your spouse. What are their names? When were they born? Did they visit you here in Israel? Where did you go? In which hotels you stayed? What do they like to do? Do you keep in touch with them? How are you with them generally? You build rapport with them, stuff like that. Who are the friends of your husband? What are their names? How did you meet them? Do you keep in touch with them? Blah, 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 all that stuff. Like, what are you doing in Israel? Is your husband working? Is your wife working? What is he doing? What is she doing? What was her degree? The question that I got, and I said, I have no clue, was what was your husband's first destination ever in his life where he traveled? How am I supposed to know that? I have no idea. The key is when you really don't know, you just should say that you don't know. Because if you start making something up off the cuff, it might end bad. It might end really badly because your husband might say something different and that would be a problem. Okay? So questions like this. After that, the employee in the Ministry of Interior decides whether we're eligible for this permanent citizenship or not, which is valid for 1 year before next year when we need to come again and do exactly the same interview with, I guess, different questions a little bit. But anyways, it's just a very repetitive process. And it's gonna go like this for 5 years until my husband gets his citizenship. Yes. basically. So it's not easy, and definitely it's not a joke, and that's a good test for your relationship. I prefer to view this like that. So yeah, this is what we need to do basically, and this is why my husband and I have to go through this multi-level process and go about our life in Israel. So this is how they check whether our intentions are real and we want to stay here and we want to build a family here, and we're just not con artists who pretend to love the country and just want to get the passport to travel to different destinations. Because that's the thing. Many people do that. People who do this procedure according to the law of return, who never had any documents before, they actually come get the passport and go away. This is how it works. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully I actually shed some light on this question for you. So if you still have any questions whatsoever about it, I'm not an expert, but I definitely know some things, one thing or two about it. So drop a comment in the comment section below if you want me to answer any of your questions. I think that's pretty much it. Not too bad for a comeback video. It's been like 7 years since I posted anything here, so I hope that you will find it useful, or at least you enjoyed listening to me babbling about all this stuff. Right? So see you, I guess, in the next video. I don't know what I'm gonna record for you because I have a lot of content on different social platforms. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.